Hey guys, welcome back to the Birds Party channel. Today I have some really cool farmhouse style DIYs that are perfect for you to decorate your office, your desk space, ready in time for back to school season. And our first farmhouse style office DIY is this really cool memo board, which is perfect for an office space obviously, but also you can use it as a command station in your kitchen. And this little memo board started off its life as a filter cover. I don't quite know what this is or where this comes from. It's just been sitting in our garage for years, and as with any DIY project that I do here for the channel, first I try to shop my home and shop all my junk, and hopefully you guys do the same, to just kind of see where I can get my inspiration. And this thing was just screaming, make me into a rack. Whatever rack it was. First I thought I might do like a coffee rack or a coffee station, but when I was planning this video I saw this and I thought, memo board. So I decided to spray paint it black with a matte black spray paint, which I already had at home, so I didn't really buy anything for most of these DIYs in fact. And I think the matte black look goes really well with the modern farmhouse style, which I'm really into. But obviously feel free to use whatever colors suit you, your style and your taste, and decor as well. Obviously the likelihood of you guys having the exact same piece of junk that I had to create this project, you know, is very slim, but hopefully this will give you some ideas that you see kind of, you know, an object that you have already at home or at your local thrift store, like a piece of chicken wire or something similar that you can use to create a memo board. So hopefully this will give you some inspiration on how you can upcycle something that, you know, looks very unlikely like a memo board, but that you can perhaps transform with a little bit of love and TLC. And basically for the handles I just used a bit of nautical rope that I had at home, and my husband gave me the idea to add a little bit of twine just for detailing, to just make it look a little bit prettier and make the handles, the finishing of the handles, look a little bit neater as well. So to get that all secure, I just added some hot glue, and I have a high temperature hot glue, but just regular hot glue would work as well. And I just used a little bit of twine which I had at home and just wrap that around. But obviously again, you know, use what you've got at home. Don't feel that you need to go out to buy anything new. Try to recycle or upcycle as much as you can, especially in the current times. You know, we don't want to be going out so much, so see what you have lying around in your garage that hasn't been used and see if you can create something similar. Now you could totally stop there and leave your memo board as it was, but I had this little mini chalkboard at home, and I purchased these Scrabble letters recently in my local craft store. You can probably find something similar at the Dollar Tree, online, on Amazon, or at your local craft store, wherever you are in the world. And I decided to add that to the front of my chalkboard with a little bit of hot glue and spell out the words office. Obviously you could spell out your family name, your first name, or anything else you like say to do or shopping, and just go to town and be creative and make it personal to you and to your space. On the bottom of my memo board I decided to add a little basket, you know, for chalks, pens, little notes or anything else like that. And I had these hooks at home. They came in a pack of 4. They weren't quite the color that I wanted for this project, so once again I took out my trusty matte black spray paint and I just spray painted them matte black. Obviously I did one side, waited for it to dry, and then just turned the hooks around and sprayed the other side as well. But obviously feel free to choose colors that suit your decor and your taste. And for the little basket I used this little wooden wooden planter that I had at home as well. You know, I do gather a lot of junk from my trips to the thrift stores and craft stores and things that I get as well from brands and stuff. Anyway, so I had this at home and I decided to protect it with a little bit of clear varnish so that it wouldn't get so dusty and so greasy in my kitchen. So I just painted that, let it dry, and just hooked the whole thing to the bottom of my memo board. And to put the whole thing together, I just used some zip ties, and luckily the chalkboard, the mini chalkboard that I made, had a hole on top already. If you have something similar and you don't have a hole, you could always, you know, get a drill and just drill a little hole to attach the whole thing together. But like I said, depending on what kind of materials and supplies that you have available to you, you know, the configuration of assembling the whole thing might be a little bit different. So if you have a piece of chicken wire, you might have to just hot glue things in place, add some E6000 to make everything nice and strong. But here I was able to use a black zip tie, and I just hooked the whole thing onto the metal wire part, and I secured that to the center of the memo board, and I think it looks so cute, and I was so pleased how this thing turned out. As I said at the beginning, I had no idea what I was going to make, and I just kept adding to it, you know, and sometimes you lack an inspiration, but once you start a project, you know, you get more inspired by the products that you have to play with, by the supplies. So hopefully you guys find some inspiration as well and get creative with, you know, props, materials, or anything else that you have at home. So just to finish it off, I just added my little wooden basket on the bottom and some wooden pegs to attach little notes and such like. And I love how this thing turned out, you guys. Seriously exceeded all my expectations, and the whole family loves it, and it's super useful as well. And our next office farmhouse DIY is this really cool DIY clipboard that I used to display some wall art. And this project started off its life as a little placemat, you know, that we used for the dinner table, and I paid 99 cents for this at my local thrift store. And the back had a nice cork finish, and I thought I may be able to use some pins on it, but then I decided to turn it into a clipboard because I had this golden clip at home. It didn't quite go with the modern farmhouse look that I was going for, so once again I took out my matte black spray paint and gave it a little bit of a coat of paint to just make it tie in with my whole decor. And once I did that, just basically used my hot temperature glue gun to stick the clip on top of the cork. Obviously you could have used the other side of the placemat as well, you know, if you kind of like that kind of color of pastel pink or peach, whatever it was. So maybe you already have a placemat at home that you can use for a project like this, and then you can change up the art depending on your office decor, depending on the seasons. And for this one I actually made and designed this printable poster that you can download from my shop, and I'll leave the link down in the description box so you can access the same one. And basically you just print it onto white cardstock, cut it out, and just clip it to your clipboard. Nothing simpler than that. And like I said, you could have used the back as well if you prefer that kind of look, but I really like the contrast between the black and the cork as well. I really like how easy this DIY was, and really inexpensive as well, as you saw, and it looks so pretty decorating any office space. And our next office farmhouse DIY is this really cool desk calendar. This is a perpetual calendar that I saw online, you know, for quite a few dollars, and I decided to make my own because it looked really cool. And basically all you're going to need for this project is one of these box frames, and I chose a small, you know, half A4 size photo frame that you can pretty much get anywhere, like the Dollar Tree, Target, online, you name it. Or you probably have a frame like this already at home that you can upcycle for a project such as this one. And once you take out all the frame, the glass, the paper, the backing and everything else, so basically we just want the frame itself, just take a pair of pliers and just remove any of the metal bits and any of the metal parts on the back of the frame. Next up, you're going to need some rings, and I suggest using those clasps or binder rings that you can buy at craft stores. And also you're going to need a printable calendar tags, which once again I have designed that you can download from my shop, and I'll leave the link down in the description box. And basically all you do is print out the tags onto craft paper. Obviously you can print out onto white paper as well, depending on what kind of look you're going for, but because of my, you know, once again modern farmhouse preference, I printed off onto craft paper, but you can totally print it off onto white paper as well, or even colored cardstock as well. That would work just as well. So basically once you have all your tags, you're going to cut them out. As you can see, they have little holes on top as well to make it easier for you to assemble the whole thing. So this is a perpetual calendar, so you have the months of the year, and you have all the dates, you know, to make up your calendar, and then just you'll see in a minute how to assemble the whole thing and put it all together. Then once you cut out all your tags, just basically use a hole puncher to make little holes on top of each of your tags. And then basically we're just going to assemble the whole thing using our Biden rings. These sort of rings that I found at my local craft store, they did close, they were kind of open. I think they were made for jewelry, so I think I'll replace them later on with binder rings that you can buy online. I checked, they do have them on Amazon, you know, the ones that kind of close by themselves. These ones kind of like were left open, so I tried to glue them shut with hot glue, with E6000, because I had such a small surface area to work with. It didn't quite work out, and the best thing that I found for these rings was to actually close them using a little bit of washi tape, and this worked for me for the moment, but by no means is a permanent you know, solution. So if you're making this project, do not do what I did. Buy the proper ring binders, you know, that you can buy that close, and make sure that once you buy them that they actually fit around your frame as well, you know. So if the rings are too small, if the circumference or the diameter of the rings are too small, doesn't fit around your frame, then, you know, no point in buying that. So what I had to do here was just use a little bit of washi tape, you know, but I don't think this is, you know, a permanent solution. It's just something until I am able to replace the rings. So you have the option, you know, whatever you're using. You can use this method, but no, that's not really, you know, 100%. You know, you might get some tears in the washi tape later on, but basically I had to do this and just move the washi tape to the back so you can see the washi tape, but they're quite discreet as well. And then also, obviously, if you're doing this, make sure that you can move your little tags around easily, you know, they don't get stuck or anything. But like I said, I suggest that you use the proper binder rings that you can buy in a little pack online or at your local craft store. But I think this looks so adorable, and actually my husband snatched this one up for his own office and he thought it was really cool, and I also like it a lot. And next up, I wanted something to decorate my shelves that was really cool, that was, you know, reminding me of back to school, office, that kind of thing. And when I saw this little globe at my local equivalent of the Dollar Tree, I decided to snap it up. It wasn't the colors, you know, that I always go for, you know, the modern farmhouse, but, you know, there's nothing that a little bit of a spray paint can't fix. And once again, I'm using my favorite matte black spray paint, surprise surprise, and I just spray painted the whole thing, you know, with a couple of coats of paint. Obviously let it dry in between sprays so that you get a really nice smooth finish. And once that's finished, you know, completely dry, it just basically acts as a chalkboard, and you can use chalk pens or real chalk to draw or write anything you like on a globe. And I think it looks so much better and looks a little bit more chic and more grown up for any adult office, you know, or if you like that kind of modern farmhouse style like I do. So when the whole thing was dry, basically I just put it back together, and you could totally leave it like this, but I decided to decorate it with some, you know, globe designs. I just printed this off, went online and just searched for world map. Obviously make sure that whatever you're printing like this fits around your globe. And then I just took some white chalk and just scraped the back to mark all the lines and everything, so I was able to transfer the image to the globe using a pen. This is really easy. It doesn't have to be perfect, by the way. If it looks messy, it looks really cool just the same. So to transfer the maps of the world onto my globe, I just cut the printout into 3 so that it was easier to manage, and I just took a little ball pen and just went over the lines, and you know, on the back you will see that the chalk gets transferred to the black surface and it kind of acts like a chalkboard. But you don't have to do this, you know, and again, you don't have to be precise. The more jaggedy the lines, the better it will look. It will look vintagey, it will look a little bit old, a little bit cooler. But you can write anything you like. You can write little messages, so it can be like a little, you know, blackboard leaving messages for your family on there, or maybe marking out your next travel destination when you can travel. I don't know. So basically this is just a really cool idea, and I think that anyone can do this. When you agree, it's super easy, you know. Even a child could have fun, you know, creating something like this for their college dorm, or for, you know, for their bedrooms, and I think it looks really cool. And you could wipe off the chalk you know, that goes outside the line, but I liked the look, so I just left it on like that. Like I said, it's personal preference, you know, so make sure that you do what you like. You know, this is just an idea to get you inspired, to get your inspiration flowing, and see how you can decorate your own office space with a little bit of flair and creativity. And not to mention, this is a really inexpensive craft, you know. Perhaps you can find a similar globe at your local thrift store and make it even more cost effective. So basically it's just a little idea. You can draw whatever you like I said, with a chalk pen, and just make it look really cool for your farmhouse office space. And last but not least is this really fun office sign. And this sign started off its life as a little garden pick that I'm sure you can find at any store right now. And this one I found in my local equivalent of the Dollar Tree, if you like, here in France. And then basically I decided to turn it into a sign and upcycle this box lid. I used the box to create a plant in my last video. I don't know if you saw. I'll leave the link down in the description box. And I kept the lid, you know, precisely to make a sign. So I thought now would be the perfect opportunity, and it just so happened to fit the width of the little cow pick perfectly. So once again, surprise surprise, I decided to paint the whole thing matte black. But again, use colors that you like, that suit your decor, you know, that suit your preference. So I decided to spray the whole thing matte black. First I was going to cut the little bird and the little tulip, because I thought it was a little bit too kitsch, you know. But once it was painted black, I thought it looked really cool. So I just spray painted the whole thing, you know, to make it look a little bit more modern farmhouse, to give a modern farmhouse vibe. Now for the office lettering itself, I just went to a word processing software, just printed this out onto label paper, you know, with different fonts, just to see what I like best, and just basically cut them and to stick to the front of my black sign there. Obviously, if you have a cutting machine, you could use a vinyl, or you could use, you know, cut your own sign, but this is an option for people who don't have a cutting machine. So basically this is so easy. Just use some label paper or simple A4 paper, and you can use a little bit of a school glue to just stick that to the front of anything. Because I wanted a black border around my sign, I did it with a white background and black letters, so that once I stuck that on in the front of the sign, it would look like it had a black border. But once again, you could use sticky letters, you know, that you buy a pack of letter stickers from any craft store as well. You could use that, or you could use paint, you know, it's up to you how you create your sign. Now to further decorate my sign and give it that kind of rustic farmhouse look, I had some wooden beads, so I decided to add that to the little metal parts, and they fitted perfectly, so I was really lucky there. And the idea was to kind of put 4 and then just put the office sign in the center and just finish it off with a couple of bit more beads on the bottom, as you saw there. I didn't stick the first 4 beads on the top because they were quite snug there, so basically I just hot glued my sign in place, then I just hot glued a couple of beads on the bottom. But before I did that, I just took some white acrylic paint, and to give my sign kind of like an old black galvanized. I don't know if that makes any sense. So it looks a little bit more farmhousey, if that is an adjective. To make it a little bit more rustic, you know, I just went in with a brush that was quite dry, so hardly any paint on it. And when I was a little bit heavy-handed, I just took a little bit of kitchen towel and just wiped the excess off. No big deal, you know, just to make some of the detailing of the cow and the little designs come up really nicely. So there's an option there for you. Again, if you don't like the rustic look, you could have just left, you know, the cow colored, you know, to suit your preference. But this is what I decided to do, and I think it looks really nice and helped to bring up some of the detail, like I said, on the metal, and gave it more of that rustic farmhouse look that I love so much. Obviously I did the same thing for the office sign, you know, to make everything match nicely and to give it that rustic look once again. Now here I am, you know, putting the whole thing together with just a little bit of hot glue. You could use E6000 to make it a little bit stronger if you wish, but because I was just going to use this to decorate shelf, I didn't bother. You know, it's not going to be outside or anything, so it doesn't need to be, you know, that strong. But basically, if you wanted to hang this on the wall, we could add some command hooks at the back, you know, add some twine, string, nautical rope or anything like that. But I decided to just use it standing up on a shelf, and I absolutely love how this turned out. I think this is a really cool idea to repurpose these little garden stakes, which are quite, you know, kitsch in my opinion, and then transform them into something really cool and really modern for your office. And there you have it, you guys, all of my fun farmhouse inspired DIYs to decorate your office or your desk space. I hope you enjoyed the ideas and feel inspired to have a go. And as always, if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It lets me know that you like this kind of content, and subscribe to my channel for more fun farmhouse DIYs. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.